not a product endorsement, but just it's something my daughter mentioned to me. Like what you should get. It was really more for like a gift for a nursing student, but maybe you can request this from your families or what have you. There's a couple things that you should definitely get, in my opinion. One, especially for nursing school, not for as a nurse per se, although definitely, obviously, you'll need it. First and foremost is a stethoscope. You need that. You do need that. That's not really much of an option. You have to get one. You're gonna get your skills tested on it, so you need it. I got a Littman. It's just pretty standard. I think it's the most popular brand, but it's not the best. Now I got my daughter. I paid through the nose. Not that she asked for it. It was a gift from me to her. I got her a cardiology Littman, top of the line, really nice, almost twice as much as mine. But she doesn't like it. It didn't work for her as well as the $20, $15, cheapo, almost disposable stethoscope. And I bought one. You get a package deal with the sphygmometer, which I got too. And I suggest you getting one of those. You might as well just get a package then. You want just if you're tight for money. I think it's like $25 off Amazon or whatever. I don't even know what the brand is. I'm sure there's like a dozen different brands, probably all the same supplier, whatever. And get that and start practicing on everybody you know and people you don't know. Just offer it up. Try to get their blood pressure. Now, on top of that, I would strongly suggest just getting a digital one. You're not going to be able to use it for clinicals or whatever, or testing, but you can test yourself. So you take their blood pressure, you get your reading, and then you check yourself, a few minutes later with the digital and see how you did. Is it 128 over 65, or and how close were you, or 66? Because when you do it manually, you round by twos, but digitals you can go to the one. So that way you can gauge yourself, and they're relatively cheap too. They're like $25. I think the one I think it's, I want to say it's Amron or something like that. I honestly I don't remember. It plays little music in the background, and I have high blood pressure, so it's a good gift. Even afterwards, if you don't want to use it, give it to your parents, give it to your in-laws. For elders, they should monitor their blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure, keep it. It's a worthwhile investment, But it also tests you. So you say, hey, I'm getting good at this. It was one of the skills I kind of mastered early and got really good at. So when I take my, with the machines in question at work, I'll take a quick manual and, I'm usually like a point off, or the machine's a point off of me. Either way you want to call it. So you want to get those. They have little clipboards that fold. I really like those. I lost mine. I think it's somewhere in the house. But honestly, I don't use it. Although it's great for students, as a nurse, I never use it. But I used it a lot as a student because you're taking copious notes and all that. As a nurse, I have my S-bar sheet and that's it, and I fold it up and I use it and I keep it with me, and my notes are all on that. But I don't use the clipboard. Although I do know a number of nurses that use it. They are in a strict minority. 10% use any kind of clipboards or whatever. My clipboard, I do have one. I use it to carry papers, not to actually use it as a clipboard. So your mileage may vary on that. It's a folding clip. It's like aluminum, and it's super cool. It's got like all the values. And again, as a nursing student, I highly suggest that folding clipboard, even though I don't use it as a nurse, but I do use it. I used it as a student. What else? There are cheap pen lights. Don't get an expensive one. Get a cheap pen light. Preferably the one that has the scale on it, but if it doesn't have the scale on it, that's fine. You're going to need a flashlight. Late at night, flashing, checking pupils, you do need that. Multicolored pens, I strongly suggest this. This is part of, like, I did a previous video that did supplies, and I kind of went over that. But this is more for, like, hey, you really should get these, in my opinion. The folding clipboard, the stethoscope, the spectrometer, the digital spectrometer. Again, don't go crazy. Don't spend, hundreds of dollars on this crap. No, don't do that. Just go for something, affordable. It's reliable. That's the thing. Reliability, What else? I think that's really it, honestly. Besides the stuff that I was talking about, like, shoes and scrubs, and obviously you got to invest into that. So you have to keep your budget available to drop that, because as far as I know, all schools make you buy your uniforms. I wouldn't invest into a lab coat. That's the one thing. They kind of was like, oh, you want to invest, lab coat, because that's the provider's coat. There's a white coat ceremony that they have. Knowing that now, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't even got this. You look a little odd. You look a little out of place. And a lot of nursing students do wear the white coat. I wouldn't suggest it, because it's kind of almost, I don't know, insult, or it's encroaching on their thing. I very much delineate my role as a nurse. No, a lot of people say, doctor. I said, no, nurse. The lady there or the gentleman there, they're the provider, they're the doctor, or what have you. So I wouldn't suggest that. They might say, yeah, it's all part of the uniform. If it's optional, I would skip on the white coat, on the lab coat. If it's not optional, your school is different than mine, you whatever. Scrubs you got to pay for, you got to do that. But I would just limit it to, the pen light, the stethoscope, spectrometer, because you're going to need to know that skill. That's basic nursing 101. Literate nursing 1, you got to know that. Can't do that, that's it. So, there are other things later on that you might, a recorder, either your phone or some kind of tape recorder. I mean, back in the day it was a tape recorder, but nowadays all phones can record it, to record lectures, because you're going to want to listen over and over, and do it in the car while you're driving, whenever. Listen to your lecture over and over and over. Repetition will get you there. Okay?